G'day everybody and welcome to another episode of Automotive Carnage. Today is our third and final in our station series where we get full permission to go fully exploring all over the station, looking for some wonderful wrecks and potentially sell a few on to you wonderful viewers. So without further ado, let's get into it. So as you may know, for the last couple of weeks now, we have been exploring this wonderful station out here in the Australian outback and taking in all sorts of wonderful vehicles. We've seen EJ sedans, we've seen FJ45s, HJ45s, Land Rovers, Austins, Commas, all sorts of weird and wonderful vehicles. And it's been an absolute pleasure to go through filming them and sharing them with you guys. Now, as you know, a lot of them, in fact, all of them are currently for sale. The station owner just wants to clean up his yard. And that is no more prominent than where we are right now, an area called the Boneyard that is literally scattered full of all sorts of weird and wonderful bits of steel, drilling pipe, corrugated iron, well equipment, all sorts. So we'll go through and cherry pick a few of the more interesting components for you to see, but if there's anything you see in the background, please let me know and we'll sort something out with you. So first off, we have this awesome HQ station wagon. It's a bit of an interesting one because this one is here all by itself. There's no other vehicles around here. It is just scrap steel and this. So let's go handheld and have a look at it. So yeah, we have another HQ station wagon. If you remember from the last episode, we ended on a high on another beautiful HK, which was a Belmont, but had the Premier front put on it. This one's still got the Kingswood front. It is a Kingswood body and trim. Someone has taken the L20 engine out of there, which I believe is a 202, but left the manual gearbox behind, which is interesting because if you come look on the inside of this car, you'll notice that it's got a beautiful red bench seat, but look right in the middle, and it's got a floor shifter. So whether the floor shifter's aftermarket, an afterthought, or the bench seat, not too sure, but I dare say that floor shifter is not factory. So we look down the back and we've got some awesome glass, some beautiful chrome trim still on this. It's just been an absolute pleasure to look at vehicles that are, yeah, they might have a bit of rust in them, quite a bit of rust in them, but they're complete in that they're just a car that's been parked up and left. They're not a car that's been parked up, left, vandalized, parts stripped all off it. Like everything else that we find in the bush. These station cars are just a different kind of vehicle, and it just makes it that bit more enjoyable to find them when they've got their glass in, they've got their engines, and they've got their drive lines in them. The engine for this is over there somewhere from what I can work out, or at least the sister engine, because it's there's a 202 sitting over there. So let's go for a wander and have a look at that now. But first I wanted to show you this. This is going to be one of the biggest chainsaws I have ever seen. Look at the size of that. That is a monster and a half for a chainsaw, man. Trying to use that. And seriously, you look at the trees around here. The trees are not that big. You're not going to need a very meaty chainsaw like that to get through a lot of these trees. But anyway, I digress. I've just found some trim pieces here. What's this? We've got exhaust manifold. Got a dash surround for something. Any markings on here? No, but that is in really good nick, that one. I'm guessing it's a Ford, or I have no idea. I'm not going to guess. I don't know. Like, look at these. Old tap and dies. Really cool, just monstrous the size of them. But that just speaks to the resourcefulness that you had to have living out here. Because you can't just go down to the engineering shop and say, hey, I need this, this tapped or this put through your die. No, you've got to learn to do it yourself. And it's really cool. I absolutely love it. So let's go for a wander. That's the bonnet for our HQ wagon. But there's a white bonnet, so I wonder what that's come off. That's got some pinstriping around the edges too. It's come off the same series of Holden, HQ to HX sort of thing. But there's cool striping around the edges. I haven't seen that before. Really interesting. All right, let's go for a wander. I keep saying let's go for a wander and we never do. There's just such cool stuff here. All right, so we're making our way through the boneyard here and we found another one of these awesome homemade rhubars. That is an absolute monster. I'd hate to be hit by that. That's huge. Really cool alloy wheel over here, factory alloy. What it's come off, I'm not sure. What is it? 185 60 13 inch. Kind of looks Toyota, Japanese of some description. Over where I see it here, we've got a bumper for what appears to be a Ford. Right. Got the old Hills hoist clothesline going on. Commercial dishwasher. Well, that's, you know, because everyone needs one of those on the station. Which does make sense because often you have, you know, big sharing crews. Well, used to have big sharing crews, musters, all sorts of stuff. Look at this. Here we go, a box of goodies. Got some old Holden 4 free speeds. That are fairly complete as well. Oh, a bit of dirt in the eye. Where'd that come from? Anyway. So 2 of those, fairly complete, really cool. And the side inspection plates, not much else there. All right, we've got a big chrome over here. Oh, it's a massive 12 slaughter, Cowpat edition. I wonder if that is actually a Ford one or if it's been drilled out to a Holden stud pattern, because remember we found that when we were trying to get that ZB Fairlane out of the bush there with old mate Merv. All the 12 slaughters that I had pieced together, one of them was a 12 slaughter design, but had the Holden stud pattern, which was very irritating to find out when you're in the middle of the bush. All right, over here we've got quite a few stationary engines. We've got an old single cylinder Lister. So this one's really cool. We've got a pretty complete 202 with a Holden 4-speed put behind it there, with a very makeshift shifter mechanism on the rear there. I'm going to say that's come out of a Land Rover conversion. Then we've got a massive Toyota block here. Appears to be an F, but happy to be proven wrong on that one. Another Holden red motor. What it is, I'm not sure. Can we flip it over? 186. That's cool. That'll be an awesome rebuild. All right, 173. That's awesome. Just lying around everywhere. What we've got here, this is not a Toyota petrol engine. All right, so not a petrol Toyota F engine, I believe, but behind you there is a awesome, very complete H motor. Diesel, oil, man, just about everything's here. And I dare say it was put on the pallet for a reason. It was cared for at one point in its life, and it's just kind of been left here sitting. So yeah, just all sorts of cool little trinkets. We've got heaps of these little green single cylinder stationary engines here. I'm not too sure what they are. I do not know stationary engines very well. But just all sorts. You could spend hours looking through this yard at all the gear that is here. And some of it, a lot of it is drilling rods and corrugated iron. But every now and then you just stumble upon something that is positively awesome. Like a bit of corrugated stuck in a tree. Let's go suss that out. Well, that's not something you see every day. But we do get some pretty strong winds come through here. And we'll just pick up a bit of sheet like that, use as a sail. And I guess I didn't want to, the tree disagreed with that. So that's pretty much it for the boneyard here. A lot of it, as I said, is just drilling rods, corrugated iron, and old yard implements. So we'll head over to another spot now where there is a beautiful F350 truck and a Dodge. So let's go for a drive. So I just stopped off in this little spot because something caught my eye here. Was this little 4-cylinder block, right? Which isn't too particularly interesting in itself. But you look around and there's a few other interesting bits, and the one that catches my eye is the valve cover for the old Holden V8. So there's a valve cover. Where's the block and where's the rest of the car? That's a good question. Let's go for a bit of a wander over this way. Hello, hello. Where's the rest of it, I say? And here we go. So we've got another valve cover, a head. Ooh, is that for the V8 or is that for something else? I think that's something else. Where's the block? Where's the rest of it? Alright, so I can't find the block anywhere. But I dare say, looking around at the vintage of a lot of the rubbish that's here, this most likely was the original rubbish dump for the Homestead. And as I said, because of the wind and weather conditions, it's all spread all over the place. But I am seeing evidence of stuff from the 70s as well. Various ironing boards and shoes and components like that. So I'm just gonna have a little bit of wander through here, see if I find anything else that might be of interest, and then we'll move on to the next spot. Okay, so driving along, and this caught my attention. I'm not too sure what it's come off. It looks British to me. I don't know where the rest of it's gone. Like the front's just see you later. I wonder if this one, the body of this, donated its components and drive lines to that homemade buggy we saw a couple of weeks ago. That is quite possible, this being a rear-wheel drive of some description. Little barn doors on there. Still got the fuel tank in it, whatever it is. It's got some nice lines to it actually. Roof's been cut off like a little can opener or something. Got chrome trim in there. This looks like it would have been a pretty hot vehicle. Oh, there you go, so it's pre-50s because it's got the little slots so you can fold out the indicators. Didn't have fancy buttons in those days, or switches. And then handbrake on that side, on the outside, sorry, not down the center. And it looks like this has had a few driveline swaps in its day with the various holes for where the gear selector would pop out. Oh, actually, look at this, there's a tag here. What's this say? Nope, I'm reading it upside down. Press Steel Company, Corley, Oxford, trademark, patent in Britain, Oz Steel. Okay, so that's the plaque for the body. So I guess the body was made independently of the car. That's the way I take it anyway. But over here, this I find really cool. So you got the front cowl of some sort of a vehicle, right? Now unfortunately I don't know where the chassis gone or motor or any of it. I haven't found that yet. But if we get closer here, I shouldn't come in from that direction. There you go. Holden 206 Chev car. So this was the 206 car made by Holden. 1920s Chevy of some description. Really cool. That is an awesome part of Australian automotive history. I just wish we could find the rest of the vehicle or even just some more parts to kind of build it back together to see what it would have looked like back in the day, especially being one of the original Holdens before Holden started making Holdens effectively. There is a fender or guard runner over here. Not sure if it's from the same vehicle or not, but that's pretty cool. Okay, so you couldn't tell, but my voice is getting pretty late in the day now and the sun has come out really hot. So we're going to head back to the homestead. And yes, I've been promising you through this episode that we'll see an F350. So with no further ado, let's just go check that out now. I mean it this time. So what we have here is a lineup of a lot of trucks. I know very little about trucks myself, but they're still awesome to look at. So let's just start off with this old Bedford. Really interesting styling that they chose back in the 50s for these things. Still has the massive diesel in there. It's fairly complete. Not sure what's going off that high ab there. That looks a bit how you doing. But the rest of the vehicle itself actually does look pretty good. And this was used as, what was that, high ab, backhoe, truck hire. Interesting, really, really cool. Can't get into it unfortunately, but luckily there's no windscreen. So you can see it's pretty torn up in there. What a blooming backbreaker that thing would have been to drive in. The old Mercedes, that's already been sold and going on to a new home, but this Dodge, my gosh, Dodge 700 361 heavy duty. Look at the size of the engine in this thing. How's that? That is a monster and a half. Absolutely awesome. So massive straight six diesel in relatively good nick. This I actually wouldn't mind turning it into a tilt slide and using it as a bush recovery vehicle. I reckon that would be really cool to use this chassis. It just has a nice shape to it. Really like it. The interior is still relatively complete. Still has all your gauges in there. All the glass is still here, which is always an added bonus. Chassis underneath looks to be in good condition. And I dare say that one as well has done a lot of work. A lot of these trucks. I mean, these trucks didn't come out here to be show queens. They came out to work and be used and do what had to be done. So this old Leyland, for example, this thing is a monster as well. Really cool looking truck. Dual axles on the rear. Bit of rust in the cab. Oh, that's right, the door doesn't open on this one, so we'll climb up. And oh yeah, she's been pulled apart and used as a bit of part storage. But man, whew, it would have been a rough ride on these old outback roads in one of these things. All right, so we'll head over to my favorite. I keep telling you about it. It is here, an old F350 Ford. It's gotta be my favorite truck. It looks awesome. There's just something about it. It just does something. Let's have a look. Would you look at that? I don't know what it is, but this would be my pick. If I could take any of these trucks and turn it into a bush recovery vehicle with a tilt slide on the back, this would be the one. It is just really cool. I like the dump that's on the back of it at the moment. Whether it actually works or not, I don't know. Massive blooming axle on the rear chassis. The interior, oh yeah, that interior is a bit of me. That is nice. All relatively complete, still got all the beautiful gauges in there. Still got keys even. Look at that, does it too? Oh yeah. I don't think she starts. Might need a new battery. Anyway, what's that? Split shifting and 2-speed axle. Huh, interesting. Not sure I could drive that, but can soon learn. But underneath, I don't think this has the V8. I think this has just got the straight 6. Yeah, straight 6 petrol. But man, look at the room for activities in there. Big block, put a big block V8 in there. I think you'd have yourself one hang of a tow vehicle. It just looks cool. Oh, we're missing a wheel in the front here. It's just heavy duty, isn't it? What a beast. Oh, guard's a bit bent there, so we're not going to have to get in. Alrighty. So that is all for our station series. I hope you enjoyed it. I had a great fun looking around all these old vehicles here and showing you around and what's just available out here in the bush. Now, as I said before, all of these vehicles over the last 3 videos are for sale. So if there's anything that you've seen that you like, please give me an email at automotivecarnage@gmail.com. We are located in the Goldfields of Western Australia, so please take that into consideration. And yeah, thank you all for joining along. We've found all sorts from massive Ford F350s, EJ Holdens, sedans, all the blooming HJ45s left in the world there. It's been an awesome collection. So thank you very much for coming along, and we'll catch you all on the next episode of Automotive Carnage. See you later.